All right, good evening, everyone. This is Angad here from Congnilements, joined by my co-host Aishwarya. Today we come here on behalf of Congnilements on our event, our special series called InsightX, wherein we have people from, we have industry specialists who are venturing into various, fields with industry experience of, 10 to 20 and, plus years. So we are so glad to have all of you here. I'm just introducing the panel real quick. We have Mr. Srihari, we have Mr. Santosh Burani, and we have Mr. Srinada Gupta. So glad to have all of you here, sir. And it's an immense pleasure to have all of you on panel. Thank you so much for taking out time and joining with us here today. I'm joined with my co-moderator, Ms. Aishwarya. And we are from Cognielements, and we are starting our session of InsightX on the occasion of our third anniversary of Cognielements. Right. So joined with us today on our panel discussion, we have Mr. C. Vinit Dio as well as Mr. Jayesh Rathod. Good morning, sirs. Thank you for being part of our panel discussions. Very happy and glad to have you here. So just for our viewers, just want to let you guys know that the whole point of this panel discussion is to gain insights and learn from the valuable experiences that these two gentlemen have been, residing in. So without further ado, I think I will just give a brief introduction from my side. So begin today. So, sir, let's start with you, Srihari, sir. If you could just give a brief introduction of yourself and let our viewers know, a little bit about you.
I'm Srihari, based out from Bangalore. The last 15 years, I'm in Mysore in land development, constructions, villas, and resorts. I'm a member of CREDAI. It's a national body. I represent my city, I represent my state, and I'm also in the national body. Real estate has been one of the passions, and it's been successful quite so long. And Mysore is a tier 2 and in between tier 2 and tier 3 city, where the volatility is very less in Mysore. We have a steady growth in Mysore, irrespective of pandemic.
Joining us. So, Mr. Vinidio, if you could just help us, help our viewers give a small introduction of yourself from your end. Over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much for inviting me here. This is Chartered Accountant Vinit Dev. I run this advisory firm by the name of Posiview Group. We principally focus on raising capital for real estate developers. So far, close over 100 transactions from banks, NBFCs, and private equity funds, which is pretty much the entire spectrum from whom money can be raised. We are also knowledge partners to the real estate developers body, which is CREDAI, and we do a lot of work for them, which is drafting representations on things like RERA, on submissions for the budget, and so on and so forth. With this short, we've got a team of over 10 people, 3 partners. So that's about me, and over to you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. That's a lovely introduction. Mr. Jayesh Rathod, if you could, please kindly introduce yourself for our viewers.
Thank you so much, Angad, for giving this opportunity. So very quickly, I will introduce myself as Jayesh Rathod. I'm one of the founding partner and director of Guardians Real Estate Advisory operating in MMR region. And we started our operations since 2016 with a team of 6 people. And today we are approximately 380 plus member team operating in sales and marketing domain.
Great, sir. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. So, Mr. Srihari, sir, what do you think, from your personal experience, do you think we can standardize the online buying process for real estate, in your opinion?
Yes, the online process should happen. But India being a variety of people, not everybody comes to online immediately. We still feel, particularly when we go to clothing, very simple. For food, all the youngsters will just go to Swiggy or Zomato, order them. The next 15-20 minutes, food is available. We relish it. There is a proof. When we go to clothing, whatever clothing that you online gets, people are not still comfortable getting some products online. Youngsters, definitely yes. But majority, at least 40-45% who can afford big money, they are still elders. Youngsters, they come into one sector of housing called as, it may be apartments or it may be layouts or it may be cycles. But when we go to big, online may not be that comfortable as on date. Yes, we need to see. A person needs, as a buyer, I need to see a property. I need to know the legality of the property. I need to know the opinion of the people. I need to have a first-hand experience. Right now, virtual meetings are virtual reality is happening. People can go through a Zoom. People can go through the online process, see the property, see the digital brochures. But digital brochures, people are not still very comfortable seeing because credentials are equally important. Let's assume a very big builder like Prestige or Shobha or anybody. They build something, they have a history and a proof. They have a history, they have a proof, they have credentials. But not everybody will have that credentials. A first-hand developer, a first-hand builder, definitely he can't have credentials. He need to undergo the process of physical only. Online will help in data. For selection, we have a lot of sites, 99 acres, we have a lot of web searching sites or real estate sites, which minimizes my search. But once again, when I have to finalize, when I have to decide something, when I'm putting my 40-50 lakhs on a property, definitely I need to know a physical presence. Online, very good. It is minimizing our effort of searching. In a vast city like a metro city, I can't keep on searching physically every now and then. Every builder I can't search. My whole life goes on searching itself. Online has reduced that search. Thanks to the technology. Technology has happened. Once again, I would like to take another 2 minutes. Real estate is often mistaken as housing only. In fact, real estate is not just housing. It comes under a few categories. The first category is housing, where we constructed houses or sites. The second category comes to industrial, where we find large industrial estates also happening. That's also a part of real estate. Not too many people need to think that I have to just build sites or I have to build houses. They can build industrial layouts too, industrial sheds too, offer them. Not too many people may be interested in construction. People may take it for rentals. Next comes our commercials, commercial real estate, like malls, shopping complexes, multiplexes. All our real estate, the last 8-10 years, we have seen a huge growth in shopping complexes. But unrealistic rentals, when they do the business, when they start the planning, we feel that it is highly viable. In the next 10 years, I'll get back my money. But unfortunately, the calculations are wrong. There, the technology plays least part. People have to just come and see. Next, there are few other real estates too. Educational real estate. People who own huge lands to create educational campuses. That's also a part of real estate. Medical and health, of late, of post-corona, everybody is turning towards this. Infrastructure is a huge real estate. Everything put together, it should happen in synchronization. And in that synchronization, technology plays a part in planning, technology plays a part in development, technology plays a part in financing and administration. Technology plays a huge part in marketing. And all should be synchronized. An organization should get ready for technology, and technology will be the ultimate. There is no school or college for WhatsApp or Zoom. We just adopted in just few days, few minutes, we get adopted. So technology is ultimate, and our youngsters, they are geniuses on technology, and they teach the elders. In fact, earlier youngsters used to learn from elders. The present scenario is just the reverse. We are ready to learn anything from our youngsters because they are our future. They have shown us the way we can do things much better.
Yeah, I think so. I agree, and I also agree with the point that you said that technology has pushed us forward, but it's still there's a long way to go, and probably generalizing the whole process and putting it into full force. Vineet sir, if you could just give us a brief about your industry, and how the financial sector right now has been sort of affected or changed or revamped in this whole pandemic period. If you can just give us a small brief of this.
Sure. So I think pre the pandemic, there are already a couple of things which had affected the financial services industry. One was this financial crisis caused by issues like DHFL, Edelweiss, and so on and so forth, which had led to some degree of, and basically driven by the whole ILFS fiasco. So thanks to that, what had happened was the confidence within institutions themselves had got reduced. Some of us might know that the way the industry works, I mean, the way the finance industry works, and is the same with Jayesh's industry. The foundation is trust. Ultimately, when he goes to a buyer and he wants to buy a flat which is under construction or at a clean stage or at a launch stage, effectively what is being sold is trust that that unit will get constructed and delivered. In our case, it is a trust that the money that I'm giving you, one or the other way, will come back. And the way it got affected was in two ways. One is new lending. I'm talking institutional lending, and anyway, the private lending has significantly come down. There was a concern that overall the slowdown had been in effect even pre-COVID, for example, to that extent. The budgets had not been great, and there was no significant push like tax benefits and so on. Of course, affordable housing had got a lot of push, but mid-range and luxury housing was still pretty moderate, nothing exciting.
Right.
Now, with that background, the bankers knew it is difficult to sell. People were already facing distress. And in that segment, lending became an issue. On top of that, when one banker knew that other banker may not take over if the time comes, that added to the woes of the industry. So I think those were the challenges that we are anyways facing just pre-COVID. I wanted to give you that background so you understand how challenging it was just pre-COVID. COVID obviously made it tougher, made it worse, because obviously there were no footfalls and so on and so forth. Post-COVID, something interesting has happened, and we'll look forward to Jayesh commenting on it. We are seeing, at least for the clients that many clients are dealing with, there's some pent-up demand in A-grade, good quality, good location wala residential places. There's some demand coming up, consequent to which, at least last 3 months, this financial year has started on a positive note, whereby lenders are open to lending good quality projects.
All right. Yes, I think that's completely understandable when an industry already pre-COVID is facing a loss and then it's hit by a pandemic. It's just a little more, disparaging. Jess, what are your thoughts on the same?
So, Angad, what has happened? Pandemic was the complete shock for the not only real estate but all across all other industries, which is visible. Having said that, even when the first lockdown started, it was more fear that what will happen time, especially to the real estate, because the most expensive product which anybody buys in their lifespan, lifetime, less frequent, more emotional, family decision was the home, and certainly was not a priority when there was job cutting was happening, salary cuts was happening, etc. In that, one thing which we observed, that home was the only medicine which people have in the lockdown, and they want a shelter. The rental people was looking for that. I wish I would have my own home. A joint family was, two brothers working from home, their kids, all joint family. So it was a little more chaotic way of living at that time. So once the last lockdown got lifted somewhere in June 2020, we saw a great response. Since June till today, we must have sold more than 25 lakh square feet. Inventory was 6,500 crores. So adding it to what Jo Vinit bhai bol rahe the, we understood that people understood the importance of home, and those who are looking for, say, location like Bombay in Andheri, but budget didn't permit, they went an extended suburb and bought at Malad or Kandivali. Those who are looking for a 2 BHK, but the present situation, they said, let me compromise on at least buy a 1 BHK. So those who are looking for a spacious apartment, 1 BHK, they may compromised on the size, but given a more weightage to the well-planned 1 BHK with the A category developer with a good set of amenities. So in case of third wave of COVID happen, at least they have a space to live for that 3 or 4 months of the lockdown. But we are not seeing the demand going down, Uncle.
Yes, for sure, at least. So this is just testimony to the fact that, how hard any industry gets hit, at least mankind finds a way to, sort of maneuver itself around finding alternate solutions, and such self-sustenance is something that drives human nature to find alternative solutions to survive. So I think the real estate sector is pretty much testimony to this. Great, sir. Thank you so much for this insight. There was a study that was conducted, and it was shown that NRI investments in Indian real estate are expected to rise, up to $14.9 billion in financial year 2022. So why is real estate seeing more NRI investment? Is it something to do with technology, or is it something that, is some other factor it's linked to? So what are your thoughts on this?
See,
Sweet.
NRIs are our own people, Indians. Post-COVID, the last 2 years, people have been stranded at various places. Due to the policies, probably many have been sent out. Many have been fearing whether their existence in their respective countries where they are presently placed, their existence is at stake. So they need to come back with their investments. They need to come back to their hometowns, their home cities, home states. They have to come back to find out an opportunity that, yes, my investments need to be safe. In a foreign land, their investments are least safe. But when they come back to India, their investments are 95%, 98% safe. That reason, every NRI the last 2 years, they are turning back towards India. And Indian real estate market, tier 1, probably it is saturated or nearing saturation. But tier 2, 3, and 4 cities, definitely they have not even grown by 10%. The overall opportunity for them is more than 90% for investment. And in India, the last few years, decades, the investment is 99% safe, and an average return better than the banking rate, an average return better than any speculated rate. Real estate has proved that it is very good and safe. This is the reason everybody who has gone abroad made their money, made their wealth. Instead of deploying their wealth, whether it is fixed wealth or liquid wealth, they are trying back to bring it to their hometowns. They have gone out somewhere, but their family is still, their roots are still in their hometowns. They will tell, let me have a site here. When I come back, let me have a building there. So that investment is expected to be at least a lakh crore plus. That is what you are telling, $14.9 billion. It should be a lakh crore plus. And that is from NRIs alone. It may spur in the next few years. People who are well settled, who are citizens of that particular country may not come back here. But people who have gone in the last 7-8 years, who are not yet citizens of that particular country, definitely they will come back to their hometowns. And nearest, they know how to manage. They know the rules and regulations. They know the laws. They know how to invest. They know how to register the property. They know how to develop the property, and they know the value of appreciation. In all angles, India is still the safest bet in the world. Irrespective of governments, irrespective of the present economic scenarios, we are still the best. As a realtor for the last 20-30 years, definitely I have not found insecurity. We may have slowed down. We may have some problems. We may have some speed breakers. It can be pandemic, or it can be GST, or it can be RERA, or it can be anything. These are speed breakers. But 2-3 years, we are still adjusted to everything and grown much, much beyond the expectation of anybody. Still, irrespective of this pandemic, people are doing business. Irrespective of pandemic, people are into development. They know that there is a huge potential because of the population. There is a huge population. There is a huge population demand. There is a huge resource of land available. And we have not even reached 20-30% of the total demand. So that makes the NRIs push back towards India, make their investments towards India, and definitely their roots in India will absorb this. This is my answer.
Yes, I think I completely agree. The pandemic has been a major push towards many big decisions for many people. And also, I think the fact that you said that, whatever may be the situation, the speed break or GST, demonetization or whatever, mankind has this habit of adjusting itself. We don't accept no as an answer. There's always something to be adjusted for. How in your words, how has smart home technologies impacted the real estate industry, and how will it further impact the industry?
Yeah, sure. So of course, Jayesh Bhai is a better position to understand that and comment on this, because it's straight right in terms of the sales and marketing. and smart homes. But from one of the things that I can say from our perspective is, these days when lenders or investors are looking at housing, some of these features that were earlier called fancy are no longer fancy. They basically are used to judge the quality of the promoter. When 4 other or 5 other people around you are going to likely to give such features and you are not giving, then it's a challenging thing. So smart security systems, cameras, or even within the house, the kind of setups which are there. Now, some of those, if you don't give, then it's like a 3G phone versus a 4G phone. Then you are selling an obsolete model. Investors are questioning that. Earlier, they were not getting too much into specifications. Also, one more thing which has happened from a sales angle. Earlier, many times developers used to say, so and so brand, a Jaguar or equivalent. Now, today's customer is smart enough; he can Google quickly and check कि वो Jaguar क्या है, or there's some other brand which is, when you say premium, what exactly is premium? Is Jaguar premium or is it not premium? They can quickly check WhatsApp, check with their friends. The friend is an architect, can quickly tell them, etc., etc. So, in fact, now smart, I'm saying not just in terms of smart home technologies, but smart in terms of selection of the materials, selection of the things which can keep the home cool, and all of those things are also very relevant. Lenders do ask those questions because they are also now smart.
Yeah, so well said. Like with the advancement of technology, I think this word smart has to be incorporated in almost every sector and almost every decision that's to be taken. That's a really interesting point. In addition to that, do you think we can in what ratio do you think should we combine digital customer experience and human customer experience to provide optimal CX to our customer?
So Angad, I mean, a very, very valid question, that when every whole industry, whole economy is going online right now,
right,
how real estate can we, adopt the ratio of online versus offline? So sharing my experience and thought on it, real estate will always be buyer's market for the next decade, at least for sure, till the, the new norms of DCRs, or, Vinith Bhai can add more value on saying that how the funds would be available at a cheaper cost, which will not in the immediate future.
It's 11 o'clock.
Empowering the customer to enable decision making will be the best interest of real estate stakeholders today. That's what we strongly believe into. Customer retention is the critical aspect of real estate today. Like anybody who's inquiring online or even making a visit at site, and how we can retain the customers and convert from inquiry to the closure will be the new success mantra. But to achieve all that, Ankad, it required a very omni-channel customer sales experience. When I say that, I mentioned that digital platform should be fully simulated the product. This will only be the first level of interaction. However, this will not ensure that the customer will buy online. The final sampling and transaction will continue happening at the physical site only. So in summary, I should say that these simulations happen online and transaction will keep happening offline, and whereby it's a new combination of that new term which get coined in marketing word today is a physical and digital together, which is digital.
Digital, right?
The customer wants to see, look, touch, feel, etc. A wife wants to be in the kitchen over there in the show flat, experience how spacious it is. Kids want to go and see the amenities if it is ready. Husband wants to see how far it is from the office space. Parents wants to see what is the surrounding approach, secure, safety, etc. for the whole family. So that will not happen online. That is only possible when all the informations they will willingly cater from the online platform where most of the developers are providing. But the final purchase will happen is at site only. So Angad, I will give you an example. The last lockdown got lifted in June 2022. We launched one project of a developer at Goregaon, whereby online 4,500, more than 7,000 inquiry got generated online before the launch, and 4,500 visit happened in 2 months to sell 450 units over there with a 10% conversion ratio. So that's indicated. You will see online, but you will buy at site only.
On site, right. Yeah, I think so. That's the whole sentiment behind real estate. That look and feel is something very difficult to eliminate. The buyer, Srihari sir, I would like to know a little more on the from the realtor's perspective. So, what do you think? Would there be a push towards a sustainable approach towards construction in the upcoming years?
Hitherto, we used to waste our resources a lot. For example, once we excavate the earth, it was dumped somewhere else. The earth excavated was dumped somewhere else. Now we have understood that this earth excavated is needed at some other place. This we call it as a sustained development. While coming into the UGD system or the entire construction, majority of the construction, we need to have a sustainable development. One resource has to replace the other resource at some other place. See, water and sanitation in every house, earlier they used to do it as once they dig the pit and this goes to the main line and all this, whether it is water or one is inlet and the other is outlet, 25-30 kilometers outside, the water is flown there and a lake is created and that has to be cleaned. It's in a very big way. We used to lose this resource. Today they have found out as a development in apartments or a unit or a cluster of layouts, whether it is government operated or private operated, they need to have a UGD system, they need to have an STP nearer to their place. Whatever the water loss there has to be in the particular layout itself, has to be in the particular location itself. The waste of the human waste and the other waste, definitely it is flown back into the parks of our own development. Means this is sustainable. Otherwise, we used to spend huge resource just planning, just on execution, and we used to once again reiterate or correct the whole system. Sustainable development has to happen, which is happening. Now, once a construction is done, we are not sure whether this construction will last for 25-30 years or 50 years or 100 years. Sustainable development today, yes, our planning is done for 100 years. Otherwise, every 30-40 years, it needs a refurbishment. Majority of the apartments in metros, in an urgency to build, in an urgency to sell, majority were using cheap quality or were very conservative in their spendings. Unable to understand this used to happen with first-time builders or second-time builders who are just concentrating in and around profits. But when we started building, when we started these developments, we found the need of a quality development because we can't keep on going, correcting, repairing every 15-20 years. So every builder today is planning to build for 100 years, where that sustenance, maybe we are spending little higher amount today, but that sustenance will be for a longer period. So this need is always there for a sustained development. And for that need, we have to be in synchronization with professionals who are into this sustainable development. The builder, 99% of the builder is not a technocrat. He is a financial person, that's all. He brings his investments. But if a builder takes the suggestion of a professional, right from an architect, a structural engineer, the conservatorist, and whoever professionals involved in the type of construction, definitely they will keep on advising. Yes, there is a higher cost payments to these professionals, but once we take up these, our cost of development will little increase, maybe increase of 3 to 4% as their fees, but overall cost, overall cumbersome cost, repair cost, or destructive cost comes down by more than 30-40%. All the big builders have found out that it is better to do a very quality job, good job, have all the plans intact, and don't do any deviations. This every big builder has found out this. Make it a sustainable development, sustainable not just for the builder, it should be a sustainable development and a construction for the person who resides there for a very long time. We have seen water leakages in the building. We have seen the drop leakages. We have seen the breakages in the walls. We have seen the breakages or loose ends in the pillars. It was why? Because there was no planned sustainable development. Sustainable development in the form of a builder should be there. Sustainable development in the form of a government agency who monitors this, who should not give permissions for a low quality development. That should be a rule of the law. So everybody who purchases are damn sure that this building will last for 40, 50 years. And that is their lifetime investment. It's very much needed. And of late, the last 8-10 years, everybody has started realizing that quality and sustainable construction is the need of the hour.
Yes, so I think sustainable construction should have always been the need of the hour since the beginning. Yeah, but I think pandemic has made it, has made people realize that, okay, this is something that cannot be taken lightly because it's something of prime importance. Yeah, something of prime importance. Yeah, yeah, sure.
The last 2 years of pandemic has given us space for corrections. See, my office, last year I had 3 months of space to correct my mistakes, regularize my mistakes, see that all the systems are in place. This year also similar thing has happened. For every developer, it is a space for reconstructing themselves, replanning themselves, and to adjust to the need of the hour. Now, we are discussing today, but probably if there was no pandemic, we would not have found to discuss this at all. So we have technology, we have informations, lot of exchange, and this pandemic has shown one is we can discuss online. Earlier, any discussion we used to go to their place and discuss. We thought that discussing in person makes better benefits, but we have in the form of pandemic, we have realized that there is a resource saved, time resource saved, transport resource saved, money resource and energy resource, everything saved, but gainfully we are just spending a half an hour time. For this half an hour we used to travel a lot. That has reduced the pollution of the nature. The entire nature has corrected itself. Air has corrected itself. The quality of water has corrected. The quality of ground has corrected. Our Mother Earth has corrected itself. The greenery has corrected itself. Yes, there is pandemic. There are problems. Seeing the positive end of it, everything is correcting and probably for a better living. Nature also follows a sustainable development.
Yes, I think one small change, and look at the number of factors we are, number of positives that we are getting into play. Just that one small change inside. Vineet, adding to that, what do you think? What role does technology play in increased investment in the real estate sector?
So effectively, what's happened is 2 or 3 trends I would like to point out happening from the financial services side. One is the evaluation of projects. And this is very similar to what Jayesh said, that like a customer evaluates a project online and checks all of the facets, checks the walkthrough and so on and so forth. Versus earlier, he used to be explained everything on a brochure or physically on the site. Here, what institutions are doing tech-wise is, the moment advisors like us send across a proposal to institution, their analyst will go and Google. वो पहले चेक गूगल करते ही वो पहले चेक करेगा कि आर देयर एनी कस्टमर कंप्लेंट्स, अगर कोई पेपर में आया है क्या, कुछ डिले आया है क्या. The moment that pops up, he will know, before all of us, because especially the other thing that they do is they go to all of these customer portals, and if there are customers who are shouting against the builder, it may not be on the specific project that we are lending, but a profile gets created that there are issues which have been raised by customers on any of these platforms which are there. Rotten Tomatoes hai, a lot of platforms are there, and that is free available information. Second thing is that all lending generally happens post RERA. Now, even before that's a very simplistic use of technology, right? That you have sent across a proposal, ABC project, they can check up, and then you might be saying that, look, I want money for say 2 buildings. But in RERA, there's a plan which is uploaded, which says that, look, in the first phase is 2 buildings, but overall there is a space and the layout says 6 more buildings. So lender will have a questions related to that, saying, Baki ka kya hoga? Will money be diverted there? Am I safe? So much of demand is coming, all of that. So that is a second source. So RERA is a good technology enabler whereby they are getting that kind of information. Third is effectively the things which advisors like Jayesh put up there, your online platforms, Facebook, all of that which is created. Again, as a lender, I can go to a Magic Bricks, 99 acres and so on and so forth, and I can check up. I can immediately also come to know the comparables. Because of technology, it is very much possible that within the 10-minute span, उस लोकेशन में और कौन-कौन है. So lender will have a question, अरे आपके एरिया में तो कोई A grade है, आप तो B grade हो, और आपका जो A grade competitor है वो तो 2 BHK कर रहा है और आप 3 BHK कर रहे हो, क्यों कर रहे हो? So you better have logical answers, because unlike earlier times where a project report used to be done, comparative analysis, SWOT, etc., and then used to be submitted, आज आपने just by giving name and RERA number, वो पूरा कुंडली लेंडर के पास आपका अवेलेबल है, right up to the soft things like customer complaints. There are some institutions and some good institutions, and there are softwares also now available for that. People like SBI are using softwares where they run 21 different checks just legally, because civil cases, criminal cases, consumer courts, central registry for mortgage and so on and so forth. ऐसा करते करते then there is, because in India it's not integrated, right? You have got different agencies, so your pollution control board is a different year, and वहाँ पे अलग cases लगते हैं. So now there are softwares available in which you put a person name or a company name, and उसके पूरा कुंडली you get to. There is CIBIL and so many things. So technology is being used extensively by the lenders and institutions. So the only way is to maintain quality, do what you are, you have to, as they say, do what you say. And that's what it's coming down to.
Yeah, I think technology has actually consolidated a lot of things and put it together. But, it's helped a lot save time as well, speaking from the financial sector. But having said that, also there's a hint of skepticism amongst the people, from the financial industry, because the technical know-how or the trust, which is probably a little something, people are a little afraid of using technology right now, the trust factor amongst people. So that's something I think it still remains a challenge. So having said that, what do you have to say about the revenue sharing deals? Or do you think revenue sharing deals will be beneficial?
That's to me?
Yeah, that's to you.
See, very difficult to say this generically, okay, because it depends on the commercials of each project. But generally what we are seeing these days is a preference of builders and both landlords to do more of a direct sale deed kind of proposals than revenue share or area share for that matter. Couple of reasons for that. One is, of course, RERA, which makes the landlord also a party to the whole RERA registration process.
Correct.
Second, what happens is the money gets stuck, because that 70-30 rule is also applicable to the landlord. Third, importantly, what happens is these days, if you see, prices are not going up. And JJ will agree that more or less during the course of the project, 3 years, 4 years, whatever you assume day one is more or less the price which is going to see. So from revenue share, what happens is it becomes unviable either to the landlord or to the developer, because landlord will always say कि अरे आपको कम investment करके सिर्फ revenue share देके पैसा कमाना है, and I am not getting money upfront. So effectively the interest cost or some degree of upside is expected over a period of 3-4 years. If the revenue share is to be less, now that is not possible. And if upfront he demands more, then it doesn't become viable for the developer to start giving that much upfront percentage revenue share from day one. So I feel that this whole revenue share deals overall will come down. Also, there's a cash flow problem, right? Cash flow problem is that from day one, every rupee is to be shared with the landlord, which again creates another challenge. So versus in an area share, at least the advantage is that whatever is your share, you are getting 100% of that money. And then you can do whatever you want to do with it. So I see revenue share deals over a period of time coming down. Either sale deed hoga, nahi to area share hoga.
Right. So you're saying that you kind of see a decline in this.
And generally, I see decline in JVs for a very simple reason. For two reasons. Again, one is there's a problem of GST as well.
Oh, yes.
So where landlords have to pay GST upfront, that's another big headache and challenge. As also because landlords now know that land price is not going to be appreciated, it's best to get, maybe they will get payment in installments, but get that payment and be done with it.
See, Angad, we can certainly definitely standardize this process. In fact, I have observed this trend happening in Bangalore, where most of the Bangalore being a tech, the Silicon Valley of India, most of the developers had adopted the best practices as far as online processes concerned. And as I already said, that digital capabilities can be always standardized, including real life like virtual tools for the project, covering location, complex, typical floor, unit, amenities, views, because in a city like Bombay, everybody wants to live on the top. So all that things can be certainly standardized and given the package on the digital platform. Having said that, one observation which I'll say, that information dissemination can occur online, and even an expression of interest can be enrolled online, but the final closure will still keeping at the site only. When I say so, the customer's ability to transact online is inversely proportional to the ticket size. I should say that the lower the ticket size of the home, the higher chances they will come online and make a purchase online. For an example, in Bombay, Angad, what happened? One A category developer has launched plotted development, which has never happened, ranging from 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs, and more than 600 plots were sold online, where customer has not made a visit at the site. Complete experience surrounding project, everything was explained online, and customers tend to purchase, which may not happen if the ticket size of 1 BHK is more than 1 crore, or a 2 BHK I want to buy at 1.5 crore. I will never buy online.
Right. So I think it's. I don't think we can standardize it as such. As you know.
The process of giving information can be standardized, but that cannot lead to conversion online.
Right. So it's not a holistic thing. It's only a part of it which can be. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insights. Like to go to Mr. Srihari, sir. Sir, actually, I'd pose this question a little differently to you. What is that one change that you would see if you have to point out just that one thing in the next 10 years, which you think which will significantly show up in the next 10 years?
Till now, we were planning for a very long time of investment, thinking that we will live for 100 years. COVID has shown us it is very uncertain that we don't live for 100 years. It may be 50, 60 years, or even the next 10 days we may die. So everybody is in an urgency to enjoy. Now, majority of the people have earned, but kept somewhere, kept in deposits. Now, all these deposits will come out. They would like to enjoy. First enjoyment is they would like to go to tours, and tourism related real estate will improve a lot the next 10 years. Because I personally would like to, I have not enjoyed this. I have enjoyed my work, I have enjoyed my office, but I have not enjoyed my life with my family. I would like to go out with my family. This is the tendency of everybody at the upper levels. Next coming, there is an urgency to invest and see that somehow we own a house, because at our own house, nobody will vacate us. So maybe some EMIs, but everybody would like to own a house. The second sector will invest on something. The people who are very much into business and feel who are saturated will move to villages and will own a lot of farmlands. They would like to tell, I will do agriculture. They would like to tell, I would like to do something different than my routine business. The last 10, 15 years of their life, definitely they would like to spend in a very cool and passionate green life. So instead of sites, instead of buildings, people would like to own farmlands. Particularly the people who are working 18 to 20 hours, software people, or people who would like to work from home. They feel whether working at city or whether working at village doesn't matter, as long as the connectivity is there. And they would like to switch on there to the villages. So simultaneously, every sector will have the people who have worked in a sector would like to shift to another sector, maybe in real estate, because they have experience, they know how to invest, they know how to develop a system, they know their investments well. Every system will develop, whether it is medical. See, till date, we have intelligence to leave our car for service. We leave our vehicle for service periodically. We don't mind, even if it is a 50,000 rupees two-wheeler, 60,000 rupees two-wheeler to a 10 lakh car. We know periodically we have to leave our vehicle for service. Have we left this body for service? So people would like to go and once in a year, 10 days, 15 days, they would like to go in some naturopathy or Ayurvedic resort, stay there. So they would like to revamp themselves, recorrect their bodies, recorrect their minds, recorrect their energies. Then they would like to come back. And that sector will be very huge from now. They would like to be healthy. To be healthy, they will go to the healthy sector, the health and the medicine sector. So every sector will grow. To do all this, once again, our infrastructure needs to be reorganized. And of late, the last 15-20 years, the infrastructure, roads, bridges, dams, airports, everything is growing very fast, very big. And India will see an enormous change. The destination of the world will be India because Indians accept everything. We accept harsh realities. We face the challenges. We curse, but we face the challenges. The next 1 or 2 years, we are back on track. So this is the mentality of the Indians. And this India will lead the world in real estate the next 10 years.
Oh, so that's a very positive impact. I think that gives a lot of hope to other developers and realtors as well. So glad to see. So speaking of the pandemic, our questions were mostly pandemic centric. Let us speak a little bit more upon the future. So do you think like a post-lockdown scenario will involve greater sense and urgency for a user to buy homes? If you feel so, like if you think it is, then how can this be used to, how can this be viewed as a way to raise funds?
Right. So it's again, I would love to hear also Jayesh's views on this. But the jury's out. Yeah. So work from home is the balls up in the air when it comes to kya hone wala hai. There are some people who are saying that, and you hear news every day. XYZ companies saying that from now on 30% workforce from home and 40% from home and so on and so forth. My feeling is it's to be somewhere moderate. You will have a part of the crowd which might continue working from home, maybe 10%, 20%. I don't see this becoming a fashion or a trend, despite what you have seen. And this has nothing to do with companies. I think this has to do with people. Like, given a choice, you would like to go to a company properly and work, not really stay at home and work. And there might be people, just think of it now. Why would people, there's a lot of disturbance. Not everybody's house is designed that way. You have to imagine you have to work for 8 to 10 hour period. Correct. Kids are there and some might have joint families. So all of those factors are there. So forget what the companies want. Have we thought of what the people actually want efficiency-wise? Second is, see, work is not always work. Work's also fun. You make friends. There's time pass. You go for lunches. And there's a community feeling. There is team effort. No, like, forget the company. Think of a team leader. Somebody who's supposed to manage a 4 or 5 member team and get efficiency. He will be the first person to complain that, I am not able to get efficiency out of my team. So all of the challenges have to be thought through. And I don't think it is so simple. And this, we are talking just of IT. Rest of sawal hi nahi hai. There's nothing to do with manufacturing, services. Also sawal hi nahi hai.
There's no choice.
IT, yeah. So I think companies would definitely take the opportunity and have, two key things that I see happening, and both are perception based. One is companies might say that, look, why don't we have maybe a 10% kind of a populace working from home? If there are, for example, women who are there and they want to take, for example, a pregnancy break and so on and so forth. Now, all of that will get facilitated because now people are used to working from home. So it will become the new normal. Like, correct. It will become a new normal for IT. This is like a new normal. For whatever reason, illness hai, special situations hai, there's an employee who's staying far away. And still you also, he might be given a facility. Ki aapka Virar mein ek banda reh raha hai aur Bandra mein office hai, for example.
Yes.
So that might happen if the boss says that, why travel 1.5 hours? You stay there. Now, they might introduce schemes where you can apply and you can stay at home, which will become a new normal. Second thing that I see happening is from a housing perspective, and this is more of perception driven, that जैसे पहले without amenities, without swimming pool तो घर बेचे ही जाते थे. Now everybody feels कि मुझे पूल चाहिए. कितने लोग पूल में जाते हैं ना, कितने लोगों को तैरना आता है in the first place. वो पूल 100% लोगों को चाहिए. And really, if you look at the design of the pool, if a 500 apartment complex, even if 50 people start swimming, it's a problem. Yeah, and then इतने भी नहीं होते, 5 या 10, 25 होते at the most, right? Which means the percentage is 5 to 10% of people who actually use those amenities like gyms and so on and so forth. Now, here also, what 100% people wanted. The reason I gave this analogy is your homes, and Jayesh, you have better plans, may have to be smart, Wi-Fi wise. वो आप तीसरी एक थोड़ी रूम निकालोगे, उसको आप मार्केटिंग मास्टर्स लाइक हिम विल से दैट लुक ये आपका वर्क फ्रॉम होम हो गया और ये कैसे हो गया, आपको ये कोना डिजाइन में आप दिखाना डेफिनेटली चालू करिए. एंड ऑल 100% पीपल लाइक द वे वांट द जिम एंड द पूल में वांट अ स्मार्ट होम जहां पे वर्क फ्रॉम फैसिलिटी है. So I think that's my
I think so. I really like that point you pointed out that, the customer, even though he doesn't want it, but the new age technology is such that having such a thing is considered to be a new norm.
Yeah, correct. If somebody walks into your complex and it's right. Supposed to be a down market thing, अरे आपके पास garden नहीं है, pool नहीं है.
Yes.
It is more for others. Like the way he walks into your home and he sees अरे कहाँ घर पे work from home कहाँ पे करते हो? Kitchen level पे बैठते हो? नहीं मेरे पास है ना एक कोना है जहाँ पे it's like that. And you see pepper fry and so on so going to the roof, all of the work. I myself am a victim, so I have bought stuff.
Yeah, so society norms, conventions, have kind of changed the modern day customers' thinking.
You're smart technology, no? You're supposed to look smart. Yeah.
Right. It works both ways. So, Jess, I would really like to hear your opinion on this.
So as far as two things which Vinith has pointed out, that work from home cultures, etc. Now, example, say real estate industry itself is, So I have observed that the vendor like architect, structural engineer, and a lot of other people whom we interact, which are working on the back side of the curtain in designing, they are absolutely working fabulously from the home. Nobody has started office since last more than 1 year, I'm sure about. Secondly, if I say a developer staff, so anybody who is working in the background, say telecaller. Now at my own office, the pre-sales team who usually attend the call based on generated various ATL and BTL, they are all working from home. And it was a little difficult initially when the lockdown started, but over a period we understood the efficiency was also increased. In a city like Bombay, travel time is so much, and even if they work at home, they are not disturbing my, the working requirement, etc. Having said that, at site, the front player, which is required when a customer comes at site, is must to have on the floor, which is a sales staff at various projects. So right now, if 28 projects are going on, minimum 20 to 25 people is required at site to handle that kind of customers. I mean, I'm sorry to you, I know in the lockdown, it was said that no gatherings or etc. allowed. But on a one weekend, Vinith, I can tell you this last weekend, more than 50 walk-ins is happening without any marketing efforts. Then my sales team has to be at site, and that's indicate the importance of home for anybody who is in the lockdown and experiencing that. No, I should have my own shelter. Might as well I buy rather than on rent. Might as well buy bigger than what I'm staying right now. Second point, which as indicated by Vinith Bhai, I would like to just substantiate with an example that in my existing couple of projects, 2 BHK carpet area is 850 square feet, which is huge. People are not able to afford that kind of spacious 2 BHK today. So what a marketing and sales as a gimmick we did, we carved out a 7 by 8 square feet of room in that layout itself. And we created a small study place over there. And we started marketing in 2.5 bedroom. And at 3 projects we did with it, and very good response we received because we coined this 2.5 bedroom, half bedroom for your space, for your work from home, etc. So the kids playing in the living room or bedroom is not disturbing you. You are still have your own space and you can concentrate on your work while working from home, over there. Having said that, this culture, I mean, I have observed that it is individual decision. Like if as an entrepreneur, I know that my limited number of people were allowed in the building, in the office. So we included, all the senior members were coming. My key marketing people were coming at the side, at the office to work it. So it's completely individual driven. Yesterday in one of the meeting in the marketing, when I was reviewing it and when I asked just casually, So complete team said that, no, sir, fun of working is when we share the ideas, when we come on the floor and we have that physical presence with the peer around, with the senior around. And that's what we, even, we want to invest something in Uber, Ola, traveling. We don't mind coming, but please allow us to work from office only. So as I said, it is an individual decision, not a company forced decision.
Do you think the new work from home, changes, policies and all will, or you can say, will the new work from home decors add a way to revitalize the growth and generate funds?
I don't think direct work from home it is basically more than actual work from home. As Jayesh bhai also just said right now, the perception of work from home might revitalize. And that might revitalize for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is people have realized, I think he said it very, very beginning, and it is so right, that they need a home. कि थोड़ा ज्वेलरी कम होगा तो चलेगा, थोड़ा दूर होगा चलेगा, लेकिन घर चाहिए, right? Because there are so many restrictions, and I need a home the way I want it. So I think more that has basically created a. Instead of a 2 BHK, people will now stretch for a 2.5, will stretch for a 3. That because agar kal ek to lockdown hua ek, but more than the physical, now the fear of further lockdowns is not there. There might perhaps be one more wave, and maybe that's about it, because then by the end of this year, everybody will be vaccinated.
Right.
What this has done is, in the last 1 year, it has made all of us realize कि घर कितना छोटा है. Correct? Now, when you are there practically as a working professionals, you leave you leave your house at 8:39, come back maybe at 8:39, whatever it is, and you're there on weekends. आपको घर छोटे ये ना 1,000 square feet is still not a very large house. But by staying among 4 people, 6 people, whatever, you suddenly realize that I need more. Now that realization will want you to यहाँ पे रहना है तो I better have 2.5 or 3.
Right.
Struggle, put my savings, mutual funds कम करता हूँ, लेकिन ये करता हूँ because ये तो रोज की जरूरत है. Okay. So again, the size of the house and wanting a house, thanks to this, which is a wrong thing to say, but now unfortunately that's the reality. That to this lockdown, it's now become a reality. And then the way this is affecting the market coming from financial is that people now also understand. Also, proximity to their office spaces is also something key, because there are some people who are thinking, I will stay close by, because if all of this is affected, traffic is affected and so on and so forth, then I will buy a smaller home but closer. Some are farther away but bigger. Depends on person to person choice. But I need a home, which will propel both the real estate industry and the financial service industry, because now people also understand that footfalls are happening. The same numbers that Jayesh bhai generates are the numbers when they come to us. We show to institutions saying, "Dekhiye sir, last week itna footfall hua, to kyun nahi?"
Right. Yeah, so I think that's a very interesting answer. It's even if the consumer is not, he doesn't want to, he's kind of forced to, which then it becomes a vicious circle.
It's become a roti kapda makan. Roti kapda makan is an essential need now, basically.
Yes, that's actually a very interesting way to sum it up. So we look forward to joining for you guys to join our event on the 21st, which Miraix, where we celebrate our 3rd anniversary of our company. So looking forward to seeing you there. So we conclude today's discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.